All right, foul tips for this September 14th, 2022, the all baseball edition of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Today's show is brought to you by BetUS and BetUS.com, America's favorite sports book. Pad your pockets today at BetUS.com. Might as well get right into it. Been putting this off for a little bit, going my little diatribe yesterday about umpires and the state of the game and everything else. So if you check that out on YouTube and our usual podcast accounts, you get that out there, get that out to everybody who's involved in minor sports. It's not just baseball, but everything else. So we'll just do it that way. So anyways, we'll get into the rule changes that have been going on or they're going to happen in 2023. Some long overdue rule changes that I think are going to help the game. Some that aren't, that kind of semantic. Some that are going to take players out of the game, won't be around any longer. And so it kind of I know baseball's trying to change things. It's the last sport to try and change things. Basketball put in a 3-point line. Football changes their rules all the time. You got hockey that got rid of the neutral zone trap. Baseball's the last one. That's the last of the Mohicans, I guess you could say, that is deciding to stick with the traditional rules. But now there's some things that are going to change. I think, like I said, some for the best and some for the worst. We might as well get into them right now. The one that I like a lot, and I wish they would do this at all levels of baseball, right to from amateur to college, to which they have in college, and right to the pros, but they tried the minor leagues, and it has shaved off 26 minutes per game, which is a lot. But the one that needs to be changed, I'm glad they're going to do it, is the pitch clock is coming in. Like I said, 26 minutes off of a game is a lot. So it's going to help a pitch clock. With nobody on base, a pitcher now has 15 seconds to deliver the ball to home plate to get it going. With a runner on, they have 20 seconds to throw the ball. It's a lot. With this, it's going to keep batters in the batter's box. Yes, when a ball is fouled off, they can go out, collect their thoughts, adjust their jockstrap, a la Nomar Garcia-Parra back in the day when he used to change his gloves. But it's going to change the game for the better. Like I said before, like last week, and there was a game that I did here in Lethbridge that, man, the batters wouldn't go in. The pitchers were looking around, working slow. It changes everything a lot. When pitchers are working fast at all levels, I don't care what level it is, right from professional baseball to summer collegiate baseball, right to Little League. When pitchers are working fast, it gets hitters in the mode to hit. It gets pitchers in the mode to pitch strikes, and it gets umpires in the mode to call strikes. And that will equal a better baseball game for viewers, and for that. And that's what they're trying to do, is keep people in the game. The one thing that I'm a little concerned about with this rule is that in the regular season, yep, they're going to enforce it because the clock's there and everything else. But if you have a 3-2 count and it's a tough situation, and say you got I'm just going to use my Yankees as an example here, and you got Garrett Cole on the mound in the 6th in a 3-2 game and a 3-2 count on the pitcher, and he's looking back and forth, and you got all kinds of crap happening and the clock's going. Is an umpire going to enforce this to the letter of the law? Because I think you're going to have a lot of pitchers who are so used to their ways, and they're so used to, the guys in minor leagues, they're coming up now, they've been doing it for a couple of years now. The guys who've been in the big leagues for a long time, are they going to be able to adjust their game to make this work? Are they going to be able to deliver the ball? Because some guys do take a long time to pitch the baseball. Are they going to be able to adjust the way they throw, adjust their cadence, adjust their rhythm to make sure that they get a pitch off? And if it is a 3-2 count, like I said, in the bottom of the 7th inning or in the bottom of the 9th inning with a reliever, like Aroldis Chapman's going to be gone by the time this rule comes into effect with the Yankees. But are you going to have a Jordan Romano for the Jays or whoever else? Is he going to be able to Kimbrel with his waving his arm back and forth like a grandfather clock, like a pendulum? Is he going to be able to deliver that ball in that allotted time frame of 20 seconds? Is that going to be a viable thing? And if he doesn't, is the umpire going to call a ball for and say, yeah, batter gets his base, they have a bases loaded, walks in a go-ahead run or a tying run or whatever it is? Is that going to be a thing? That are the umpires going to be able to keep this up? The playoffs, it's it's a different ball. It's a different game, and the pressure's on. Like a regular season game, when you got to say, like right now, I'm watching the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates play a game that means absolutely nothing. Pitchers probably want to throw quicker so they can get the hell off the field and get the season done with because of two abysmal teams and an abysmal season. So having that rule for these guys is nothing. But when it comes down to a pressure situation, are umpires going to be able to do it? Problem number two, and let me know if I'm wrong. Get a hold of me. I don't know enough about this right now, but if it's that 15-second delivery, when does that start? Is it when the batter gets the batter's box? When does it all begin? And then how long does the batter have to get to the box? Because now we all know that everybody has their own walk-up music and everything's going on and what's happening, and they won't start going till their own music is playing in the background, Carly Rae Jepsen or whatever. I don't know if anybody does Carly Rae Jepsen. Fun fact, that Let It Go song from a Disney movie, I can't remember which one it was. Kimbrel's been coming to the out of the bullpen to that, Kimbrel with the Dodgers. Something must happen between the years, so Let It Go is his new walk-up song. But I think that's something else that they probably thought of. I'm sure Brent Radlinsky down at Yankee Tavern North isn't the first one to think of the walk-up situation when the clock actually starts. Is this a good rule? I like it a lot. I like that they're trying to speed the game up. I like that they're saying get in the box. You don't need to be waving the crowd. You don't need to be going for a walk every time you don't get the call you like, or something goes wrong, or you get brushed back a little bit. Yes, they're showmen. Yes, it's entertainment, but people don't care. No one's there, man. No one's caring what's happening between pitches. They want to see pitch after pitch after pitch. And that goes hopefully from pitchers, hopefully to batters. I know the umpires want it. Fans want it, coaches want it, and that's at all levels. A quick game is yes, you're not going to sell as many beers, you're not going to sell as many hot dogs. I get it, but the entertainment value has to be there. Games can drag. When the average game is over 3 hours, that's too long. NFL can get a game done in 3 hours, like clockwork, 2 hours 45. They're right there, and you can definitely, yes, those other sports have a time clock, but baseball does drag on. And I'm a baseball dork. I'll watch games all day long, all year long. Even in the wintertime, I have a game on. I got two on right now down here in the tavern. But I think that's very important to get the game sped up with the pitch clock, because dead air is dead air. Whether it be a podcast, a TV show, a radio show, whatever it is, dead air is dead air. And if nothing's happening on the field, you're going to lose interest of the fans in the stands. The next one, I was all for the banning the shift a couple years ago because I'm a baseball purist per se, but now I got thinking a little bit about this, and 1420 Dave, he kind of got me thinking a little bit differently about this. There's nothing, and man, smart people bunt. I don't care if there's a shift on. I hope it happens. I see it a little bit more this season where guys are going against the shift and they're trying to hit against the shift. But if you're trying to change the game and speed it up, that means there must be more outs. So if you don't have a shift on, and everybody has to play in their position, you're going to have longer games, because now you can't get that hit up the middle. You can't get that, because now there's going to be a body there, a body not there, sorry, a body like behind second base. You're going to have the bodies, the infield shift. You're going to have four guys on one side because guys do refuse to bunt. So is this going to speed the game up? Probably not. You're probably going to have more base hits. So it's going to be a longer game. Is there more action? Yes. Is the old traditional base hit going to happen more? Yes. So they're kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth, I think, with this rule change by trying to speed the game up, but they're going to be slowing it down because there's going to be more base hits. So that means there's going to be more hitters and more walk-up songs and everything else. So is the action going to be better? Probably. But is it speeding the game up? No, it's not. It's going to slow things down. I do like it as a baseball guy. I do like how they worded it. They got to have both feet on the infield before the pitch is thrown. They can't have you got to be on either side of second base. You can't have 3 or 4 guys crowding the one side of the infield. I thought that I read, and once again, get back to me if I'm wrong on this, I did read that an infield or an outfielder can come in. I thought that's how I interpreted that. So now you might have X amount of players on the infield, but not as many on the outfield. If I'm wrong, let me know. So I'm not sure how much I like that. There will be some guys that will be leaving the game who, if they're only pull hitters, they're probably gone. Like Joey Gallows probably should have been gone anyways. Like Mark Teixeira, this shortened his career up for the Yankees a few years back because he couldn't not pull the ball. He couldn't get it through his head and he actually said I'm paid a lot of money to hit home runs. And you got a lot of guys that they'll be leaving the game after the season because they can't adjust their swing. And with how pitchers pitch now, I'm not saying they're better pitchers. They throw differently. There's a lot more spin rate and everything else. So pitching isn't better, or the pitchers aren't better. Pitching's better, if that makes any sense. So you're going to see a lot of guys who can't hit situationally out of the game as of the end of this season. A lot of guys, and I'm talking a lot of guys who can't make that adjustment. And if they have to pull the ball, or if they can't pull the ball, like they're going to be out of the game. It's just the way it is and the way things are going to go. It's going to get rid of some players and get rid of some players in a hurry. Guys who can't hit situationally. It's going to change things that way. The last one, they're going to change the size of the bases. I think that one is just window dressing. I think that's just semantics. I don't think it's going to do much. How many stolen base attempts are there per game? Is it a safety thing? I don't think so. They say it is, but 1.5 inches, 2 inches. It's not going to increase that many more steals. How many close plays are there? Yes, yes, there are some per night in Major League Baseball with stolen bases. I get it. I totally understand that there are whackers at second base and whackers at third base, but I don't think it's going to change stolen bases a whole bunch that much anyways, because stolen bases, you don't want to get guys thrown out, right? So the guys aren't stealing as much as they used to. We're not talking Ricky Henderson days. So I don't see that one changing. I will stick to my guns and say that Major League Baseball does need to go, and all levels of baseball. We talked about it at our clinic last week, how they should have the orange base, the safety base, like they do in slow pitch right across North America, where a guy has to run on the inside. That will protect ankles at first base. It will change the game. They have to run in that runner's lane anyways, so they got to put that safety bag in there. I'm going to write a letter to Major League Baseball and see why they won't change that one. They'll make a base a little bit bigger, and to try to, they said safety, and they say that's going to increase stolen bases. That 2 inches isn't going to change a damn thing. Not a damn thing for the amount of stolen bases that get attempted on a nightly basis. So that one's kind of window dressing just to appease the masses, I think. So anyways, I do really like the batters got to be in the box. The pitch time clock. I like that a ton. It's going to speed things up. It's not, you're not going to have the no marks, like I said. You're not going to have the walking around, the dead air. I like that one a ton. 26 minutes is a lot. Yeah, Steinbrenner, you're not going to make that much more money on your $15. Well, you are. People are still going to drink their 9 beers for 9 innings. It's the thing they're going to do. So you won't have people, and it's going to help TV. It's going to help everything. It's not a bad thing for things to speed up. It might bring more eyeballs to the game because people like things to be fast and furious. And what's next generation, or what now generation? Right? Like I'm at the brink of that. I'm 48 years old, so it's a little bit different. Banning the shift, not a big fan of that one. I was for it a while ago, but now I'm against it because I think that if you're a professional hitter, you should be a professional hitter and be able to hit the ball the other way and hit it out of shifts. It's going to lengthen games a little bit, and like I said, the base change, I think that's just window dressing. It's not going to change anything. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the rule changes coming to Major League Baseball in 2023. That was brought to you by BetUS and BetUS.com. Just click on our personalized link at BetUS on all our social media accounts. Make a wager today and pad your pockets at BetUS.com. This segment brought to you by Manscaped and Manscaped.com. Be sure to go to Manscaped.com for all your men's grooming needs and use promo code 1420SCAPE at Manscaped.com today and get 20% off and free shipping with everything you purchase from Manscaped. Apparently, I got to clarify a tweet I put out there yesterday about Mike Trout being a stat gatherer, and I wonder if that was all he is. I guess I worded it wrong, apparently, on the old Twitter machine, and I got a little bit of bite back from the Level the Playing Field guys, and then another guy who was following a little bit from New York State, I believe. Anyways, it doesn't much matter. I said, is Trout a stat gatherer? And what I meant by that is that he's putting up he had a big home run streak of 7 in a row, went for 8 last night. Seems to put up a good WAR every year. The greatest WAR, wins above replacement. I still don't care what what a war is. You win, you lose, you get championships, batting titles. That means more to me than anything. But anyways, a great war, best all time, best since Mantle, blah, blah, blah. What I'm getting at, is he just a stat gatherer? Is he a player that's just going to have a good record, good stats throughout his career, doesn't really care if he wins or loses? It's just, I'm sure he cares if he wins or loses. I worded that wrong too, so don't attack me at on our social media accounts. But what I'm getting at is, eventually a player to be considered great, don't they have to do something to win, or to be considered an all-timer? Like, don't you have to win something, not just an MVP, but a team victory? And what I'm getting at is that, when does Mike Trout decide and go to Anaheim ownership, or however this gets done behind the scenes? When does he go to ownership and say, listen, this ain't working. I'm this X amount years old. I have this much money coming to me. Let's defer some payments, or however it can work, and let's get me out of here, because I don't see us winning in any time in the near future. They're in a division that's pretty tough. Seattle's loaded up for a few years to come. Houston's still got a few years left in them, where they're going to be winning a lot. Anaheim's had a terrible year again, like atrocious year. If it wasn't for the lowly Oakland A's, who make less than Mike Trout, they'd be in last place in that division. When does Trout go to ownership and say, I'm out? I need to get out of here. I think it's sooner rather than later. I think it's Artie Moreno, who owns the Angels. He's looking to sell the team and get out of the business. Is this the time that Trout can maybe, I don't know, pull a fast one on new ownership and say, listen, I signed to be part of the Marino regime. I signed with them. I like the family, blah, blah, blah. Make something up and get out of Anaheim, because they aren't going to win anytime soon. And for Trout to have any kind of a legacy, in my opinion, it's time for him to go elsewhere and try to go to greener pastures, different pastures. I know that the grass isn't always greener; it's just different. But with Anaheim, he's not going to be winning anytime soon. So if he just sticks around there, he's getting paid an absorbent amount of money, something that 99.9% of us in this world are never going to see. If he's going to have a legacy, I think it's time for him to go. If he sticks around Anaheim, I think it's going to deplete his legacy, and he's not going to have a situation where he's going to be thought of as an all-timer. Like, it'll be 20 years down the road when I'm 70 years old, and I'll go, oh, there was this Trout guy, he was good, and there'll be a bunch of kids. I don't know who he was, what team he played with, who Anaheim. They'll probably be called something different again by that point. So maybe it's a time for him to call it good and go to play elsewhere. I think he's in a situation now where he can get out. Like I said, he can make up some cockamamie reason to get out, and the new ownership might say, yeah, you know what, yes, you're a very marketable person. Yes, we do want to have you on our team, but that amount of money for a team that's not going to win doesn't make sense for us financially either. I think it's a win-win for the new owners and for Mike Trout to cut ties and say it's time to move on to something different, because, like I said, they aren't winning anytime soon. And hitting home runs in Anaheim isn't doing anything. It's well known, I think, that Ohtani, he ain't sticking around either. So that's the only, like, if they didn't have Ohtani and Trout, where would Anaheim be? Like, with Ohtani leaving, what's that war that's leaving your team already too, right? So they're going to be worse next year, and that's another year on Trout's career that he doesn't have around anymore, and he won't be able to, like, you get old quick. Like, those years go by really, really quick. So it's going to be tough for Anaheim fans and Anaheim ownership to justify paying Trout that much money. Yes, you need stars on your team, but if Trout, I think, for his legacy to be anywhere near a superstar status, when it's all said and done, yes, he's the best player in the game now, but when it's all said and done, his superstar status will not be there because he had not won. And I think that is the most important thing that a baseball player can do, is you have to win at least one to be in that greatest ever talk. I think that is very important. I think it's all sports. Hockey's the same way. Basketball is the same way. I think in these team sports, you have to win one at least to be considered an all-time great. MVPs are one thing, championships are another. Getting that ring is very important for a legacy. And I don't know why you would play a team game and not want to win a championship. I'm sure he wants to, but it's got to be getting to a point, and I think he'd be getting frustrated as well. Like, obviously, I've never talked to the guy, never will talk to the guy, but I would like to tug on his ear and say, don't you want to win one? And what's important to Mike Trout and what's important to your legacy to go out and win one? Because all the individual awards don't mean anything. They're just going to collect dust on your mantle, on your Mickey mantle. But when you can go back 20 years from now and go to an old timers day or to whatever each team has and sit around with your buddies and say, remember that championship that we got, that parade that we had. I think that's a memory that is more important, or should be more important, to an athlete to get to that next level and to do something like that. Because I do really think that Mike Trout has to leave Anaheim, the Anaheim Angels, the California Angels, whatever you want to call them, the Los Angeles, like so many names. I think it's time for Mike Trout to go. Anyways, that's my thoughts on that. Listen, make sure you guys go to manscaped.com for all your men's grooming needs and use promo code 1420SCAPED. That's 1420 Scaped at manscaped.com today. All right, Foul Tips brought to you by Fans Edge and fansedge.com. Make sure you go to Fans Edge and get all your fan apparel, memorabilia, and collectibles at fansedge.com. Get 20% off and free shipping within the United States, and 20% off shop. There's all kinds of things, 20% off shipping throughout Canada at fansedge.com today. Just click on our personalized link and you'll find it's quite easy. I'll put it up there later on today, tomorrow. It's always out there for you guys to find. It's Fanatics. It's the exact same thing. So go out and get all your fan apparel today. But anyways, last night, speaking of Fans Edge, they were touting the Dodgers, not National League West champion. All the gear's out there already, the T-shirts, the hats, and the things. They're all out there. The Dodgers clinched their 9th division title in 10 years. The only blip was last year, but they have the one World Series in that time frame where they have. Fuck, I'm blowing this bad. Jim, can we trim that just a little bit? I'm going to start over. Foul Tips brought to you by Fans Edge and fansedge.com. Get all your fan apparel at fansedge.com today. Save 20% off shipping in Canada, free shipping in the United States. There's all kinds of sale items, everything else. Speaking of Fans Edge, they were touting the Los Angeles Dodgers National League West Championship apparel and gear this morning. Quick and easy to get that stuff out there, and it was ready to go to sale. The Dodgers can clinch their 9th out of their last 10 National League West Division titles. Kind of reminds me of the Atlanta Braves back in the day when they went right from, 95 to 2005. Every year was the Braves would win that National League East. But anyways, it's the Dodgers' dominance in the West. Only the one World Series to show for it, and the one World Series was in the COVID year. So a lot of people are kind of a wait and see thing with the Dodgers going on right now. It might be because of the West Coast East Coast media, where you don't get a lot of media attention on the East Coast because the Dodgers play so late at night on the East Coast, and you don't get the same media attention. The Braves only had that one World Series. Yeah, they ran into some Yankee teams and everything else in those years that they just didn't win World Series in all those years they had with their great pitching staff. But the Dodgers wrapping it up last night. They're going to the playoffs again. They're not getting a lot of press, like I said, and maybe because to be the best, you got to beat the best. And the Atlanta Braves are right there. They're in a playoff hunt right now. They're going to be in the playoffs, but they're in a division race with the New York Mets. And right now the Mets are kind of overtaking them, but I think Atlanta is going to win that division. We'll talk about them on the next show maybe, but we'll focus more of our attention on the Dodgers. I do think that this is actually the Dodgers' year. I think I predicted it in our Major League Baseball preview show back in March, but the Dodgers just seem to have something going on right now. Justin Turner has just turned it on. I didn't mean to do that. Justin Turner has turned it on. He's hitting 371, which is a big number since the end of June. He had a tough start, but man, he's flying, and he's just tearing the cover off the ball night in, night out. I think he's got a 10 or 11 game hitting streak right now. Don't quote me on that. I could have made that up. Who knows? No, I didn't. But he's tearing the cover off the ball night in, night out. Just a great player. He's a very, very good Dodger. He's been great since he got brought there, and doesn't seem to be slowing down. You got the likes of the acquisition of Freddie Freeman is huge. He hasn't missed a start all season long. He's played pretty much every inning, getting some nights off because of DH in the National League now. And so he's been fantastic. And being a past champion with the Atlanta Braves, and he's got a bit of a burr up his ass with the way the Braves and him had that divorce. As agent's fault, like we talked about in the show in the past. But Freddie Freeman, that acquisition, because to have winners on your team, like actual champions, never hurts. And it's any sport, you get a champion with a championship pedigree and a guy with the he seems like a really good clubhouse guy, a guy that Freddie Freeman has been unbelievable. Trey Turner's been very good this year with his first full year with the Dodgers since coming over. Last year at the trade deadline, he's been just phenomenal. They got the Mookie Betts, who's been almost said Mookie Wilson. Imagine bringing him out of retirement, Seinfeld episode. But Mookie Betts, you got him. You got that three-headed monster right there. There's and like I said, you got Freeman there. You can't dispute that lineup, how good that they are and how good that they have been throughout this season. Running, yes, they play in a pretty weak division. They got some gimme games night in, night out. It's not like Colorado's. You got the Arizonas. You got those teams. Yes, the Giants are good. Yes, the Padres are good, but the Dodgers get a lot of gimme games. They probably have 38 games that they should win every night. I know you're not going to win 19 in a row on a team you play week in, week out, but they have some gimme games throughout their schedule. So the Dodgers, I can't see them slowing down once it comes to playoff time. I think they're a great club. They're constructed well offensively. They're pitching, even though Walker Buehler and his tight pants are on the DL or IL, sorry, can't say DL anymore, are on the IL with his tight pants. It wasn't his tight pants that slowed him down. He's going for Tommy John surgery, so he'll probably be out for next season too. But you got Julio Urias, who's been phenomenal. He's their number one guy. He's their ace. He's been just lights out throughout the season. Kershaw being injured twice. He got the clincher again last night. I think he's got the 9 out of 10. I think he's got 5 of the clinching games. He's been there so long. I think that him going on the IL a couple of times this year is kind of a good move for the Dodgers because he can actually get some rest at his age and he'll be well rested for the playoffs. He hasn't done well in the playoffs over the years by any means, but I think the rest that he's got with his 2 stints on the IL might be just what the doctor ordered. Their bullpen is lights out, fantastic. Even with that Craig Kimbrell, I can't stand that arm wag he does. We brought up earlier on, and the let it go entrance. They have a run differential of plus 320, which is huge. I can't see the Dodgers not winning the World Series. It'll be a tough go to get out of the National League because the Braves are so tough. I think that there might be a little bit of juice with the St. Louis Cardinals with their coming out of the Central, and they got the Pujols thing going on, the Yadier Molina thing going on. Adam Wainwright, you got that going on. That's a whole nother thing today that's happening with Wainwright and Molina. Going to be setting a record for the most battery mates for most times ever together for innings pitched. But I can't see the Dodgers not getting out of the National League. I don't know if the American League is that tough. The Yankees aren't that good. Yes, you heard me say it. The Yankees aren't that good. The Astros maybe have a shot at beating the Dodgers, but I think there's a little bit of bone in the old in there, or a little bit of pop in their step to get back at the Astros for what happened back in 2017, I think it was. I think this is the Dodgers year. I really, really do. I would go to betus.com and put some money down on it today because I do think that the Dodgers are the team to beat in baseball, and they'll finally put it all together with that won't be a COVID World Series, but it'll be a genuine World Series where I think that they're going to do it. And you know what? Why not do it to win one for Vin? That'll be something else that they can put in the I don't know, on the bulletin board material, win one for Vin, because the passing of longtime Dodger announcer and Dodger great, probably the greatest Dodger ever, Vin Scully. It's a Dodgers World Series to win. That's all I got on that. I can't see them lose. I just really can't see them losing. They're going to have a pretty clear path to the NLCS. Their pitching staff is good. They got an offense that's absolutely phenomenal. They spend the most money, so they should have the best team, but that doesn't always work that way. So they're in ending, look for the Dodgers to win. they're a monster that won't be stopped. Los Angeles Dodgers guaranteed to win the World Series this year. Fans Edge, fansedge.com. Get all your Dodger apparel at fansedge.com today and look like a winner. Which ending to the home run chase would be worse, guys? I put this out on the Twitter poll earlier on today. Which one would be the worst ending? I know it's not a home run record per se. It's a Yankee record and the American League record held by Roger Maris still at 61. And you got it's the judge chase, or is the worst ending Pujols ending his career at 699? What would be the worst outcome? Getting a lot of good feedback on this, and it's actually I'm quite happy with the thing that I came up with, because it's quite getting both sides of the story, which I didn't think I was going to get, because most people are still calling and I'm not getting into that again, the Bonds home run chase of 73, the actual record, which it's in the record book, so it is. But which one would be the worst outcome for said player? Would it be Pujols ending at 699, or would it be Judge ending at 60? It's interesting to hear what people are saying about that. So go onto our Twitter account and find that. I'll retweet it and get it back out there, or let us know at 1420sports@gmail.com, or just leave a note on social media accounts and let us know what you think, because it's quite a intriguing thing. I don't know if I ended at 699, I don't know if I couldn't come back for 10 games next year. If he gets to 699 and calls it good, I think Pujols would come back next year. I don't know if I'd be able to sit there with 699 in the record books. A-Rod was forced to sit at 696 because the Yankees said get out and no one wanted him around. Pujols a good enough guy to come back and get one, but A-Rod was told to stay away. So Pujols probably getting to 700 would 699. He'll probably come back to get one more home run somewhere. But Judge, man, it's hard to hit 61, 62 in a year, and with him getting older and injury woes over his career, he probably won't get another chance to do that. Like, how many years does it happen? It's only happened once without steroids. So it'd be another thing to get to 60 and then come up short. So it'd be interesting. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. What would be the worst outcome for the home run hitter? So make sure you vote on our Twitter accounts, and we'll get to it. We'll get to the next next foul tips, the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Anyways, going to finish tonight's show with Collector's Corner, or whatever we're gonna end up calling it. I'm not really sure what we're gonna brand this thing, but I'm interested to hear what people have in their man cave, their basement, their collector's room, whatever you got. I'm interested to hear and see what you guys got in your prized possessions, memorabilia wise, and where it came from, what the story is behind it, what you got, and how you got it, or where you attained it. And like I said, the story behind it is probably even more. Is it a baseball? Is it a bat? Is it a chair? Is it this? Is that? I got a few things down here in the Yankee Tavern North that I'm quite proud of, that I acquired over the years. Some from Steiner Sports, some of it from God knows where, collectors. My brother found me some things, some jerseys that I got. I got a lot of Yankee crap down here, so it's it was crap for a while. Now it means something to me. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff down here that I'm proud of. One of the things that I get a kick out of still to this day was one of the first acquisitions that I got was a seat from the old Yankee Stadium that got converted into a bar stool. And the cool thing about this, not only that it's a bar stool, so you watch a game sitting in a bar stool from a Yankee Stadium seat, but there's still gum on the back of the seat from when it was in Yankee Stadium. So who knows where it came from. I do know the section that it came from. There's a sticker on the back, a decal on the back, I guess, that tells me what section that it was sitting in. But the gum that's still sitting on there, how long that's been there, God, who knows. Why they wouldn't have cleaned it off on a daily basis at the old ballpark in the Bronx, I have no idea. So that's one of the things I'm quite proud of. I got some baseballs that I got a Jeter, Pettit, Rivera baseball compilation that Steiner put together with Yankee Stadium dirt on it that I'm quite proud of. There's a story behind that one too. It was from the last game that Mariano pitched. There's all the game used balls, so that's another one that I'm quite proud of. So make sure you guys you send me maybe some pictures, send me a tweet, send some pictures to 1420sports@gmail.com. I'm not going to rip you off. I don't know. I'm not not doing that. I'm not trying to get you guys to show me what you got so I can send the hoodlums in there to take stuff for you. I'm just curious what collections you guys got, what our listeners and fans of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast have, because it's always a good story and it's always a good, people are really proud of their stuff and usually don't get a chance to show off their wares because they're usually hidden down in a basement for the wife to not see. So when you get a chance to show your stuff off, I'm more than happy when people come over to my place. I bring them down to the tavern and I show things off and give them a little tour of the Yankee Tavern North and some memorabilia that I got. So let me know what you got. I want to hear it. I don't know if we're going to call it Collector's Corner or not. I'm not sure exactly what the name of this segment is going to be, but I hope we get some good feedback on this in the days and weeks and months ahead, because it's a fun thing. Collecting things is a lot of fun. You got some old baseball cards that aren't worth anything. You got some new cards that are worth something. Tell me what you're most proud of, and we'll talk about it on shows to come. Anyways, thanks for listening to the 1420 Sports Bar podcast and the Foul Tips on a weekly basis. We're going to try to get more shows out there. And also, thank you for people who've been watching the show I put out on YouTube yesterday, talking about umpires in baseball and sports in general and how it's broken. So thank you for watching that. Keep listening, keep talking to people about the show, share, retweet the things, listen to the podcast, get it out there, talk to people about the show, like, subscribe, the whole bit, rate our shows, and get them out there because it helps us put more content. Fans Edge, Manscaped, Bet US, and there's one more out there, SeatGeek. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Please support our sponsors because they allow us to put a lot more content out there. Anyways, Foul Tips, all baseball edition of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Remember, everybody, smart people bunt.